Do you know how we got the Compact Center? Just one phone call. That's how it all started. We were trying to build a new auditorium, but twice the property we found was sold out from under us. I was disappointed. We couldn't find any more land. But when something doesn't work out your way, it's because God has something better in store. You may not be able to see it at the time, but that's when you have to. I want to talk to you today about just one good break. Sometimes we don't see how we can accomplish our dreams. We don't have the connections, the resources, the experience. I talked to a young man that wanted to go to college, but his scholarship didn't go through. He comes from a single parent home and he doesn't have the funds. The odds are against him. It's easy to get discouraged and think, I'll never get well. Look at the medical report. I'll never break this addiction. I've had it for years. I can't get out of debt. I've gone as far as I can. It may look like it's not going to happen, but what you can't see is you're just one good break away. Just meeting one right person, just one phone call, one contract, one healing, and what seemed impossible will suddenly become possible. You don't need 100 things to go right, just one touch of God's favor, and doors will open that you couldn't open. Just one person being for you will catapult you ahead. Just one breakthrough, and suddenly you get well. Suddenly you're free from the addiction. Suddenly the depression is gone. Do you know how we got the Compact Center? Just one phone call. That's how it all started. We were trying to build a new auditorium, but twice the property we found was sold out from under us. I was disappointed. We couldn't find any more land. But when something doesn't work out your way, it's because God has something better in store. You may not be able to see it at the time, but that's when you have to trust Him. One afternoon, I was at the office, minding my own business. A friend called that I hadn't spoken to in a couple of years. He said, Joel, I have an idea for you. Let's go to lunch. The next day at lunch, he told how the Rockets basketball team was moving out of the Compact Center and how Lakewood should try to purchase it. When I heard that, something came alive on the inside. I knew we were supposed to pursue it. Well, the city owned this building. So when I got back from lunch, I called the mayor. He was a friend of our family. I told him that we were interested. He said, Joel, I think Lakewood having the Compact Center would be great for the city of Houston. God knows how to have the right people before you. Those two owners that sold the property out from under us, I didn't like it. It didn't seem fair. The truth is, it wasn't their choice. It was the hand of God. They weren't supposed to be for us. If they would have done what I wanted, we would have missed out on the Compact Center. When somebody is not for you, don't get bent out of shape. God has the right people already lined up that will want to help you. People that are ordained to open doors that you couldn't open. People that will use their influence to thrust you ahead. But there were some people that didn't want us to have the Compact Center. Critics that said it wasn't a good fit. They brought opposition and tried to stop us. But the mayor was in charge of the city. He set the agenda. Him being for us is what kept all the opposition from stopping us. Every time they tried to keep it from happening, he would adjust something in our favor and we'd keep moving forward. I've learned you don't need everyone to be for you. You just need the right people to be for you. It just so happened the man that liked us, he was in charge. He ran the city. God is going to cause people to be for you that are in a position of authority. People that can override your critics. People that will cause things to fall into place. When we moved into this facility, it catapulted us ahead. Not just in the number of people attending, but in influence, in credibility. It put us 50 years down the road. People didn't look at us the same way. Growing up, Lakewood was on the other side of town where it was more industrial. And over the years, it had become more run down. For years, Lakewood was in metal buildings with metal folding chairs, a gravel parking lot. We had portable wood buildings for our nurseries and kids' facilities. We were seen by some people as second class. They can't afford much. They're at a disadvantage. But when we moved into this place, it was like coming out of the wilderness into the promised land. This building is on one of the busiest freeways in the nation. One of the nicest areas of town. The Rockets had won 2 world championships here, and now it's Lakewood. That one good break caused people to see us in a totally different light with a whole new respect. As a teenager, David was out in the shepherd's fields taking care of his father's sheep. It was boring. David had big dreams in his heart. He knew he was going to leave his mark. But year after year, all he did was feed the sheep, clean up their waste, make sure that they were protected. It was dirty, smelly, lonely. Nobody thanked him. Nobody knew that he killed a lion and a bear to protect those animals. He could have slacked off, had a bad attitude. God, it's not fair. I'm wasting time out here. Instead, he kept passing the test, doing the right thing when nothing was changing. One day, the prophet Samuel came to his house to anoint the next king of Israel. He looked at David's 7 brothers who were older, had more experience, more training. Some of them were in the military, big, strong, muscular. They looked like a king. Samuel passed by them and eventually came to David, the forgotten one, the one that had been overlooked, discounted, seen as less than. Samuel said, "This is the next king of Israel." I'm sure his brothers, his parents nearly passed out. You mean David, the shepherd, the youngest, the smallest? Are you sure? God doesn't choose the way people choose. People look on the outside, God looks on the heart. God found a man in David he could trust, a man that had proven he'd be faithful when things weren't going his way. God knew if he could trust him to take care of sheep, he could trust him to take care of his. I received a letter from a young lady that lives in Africa. Her dream was to get her doctorate degree so she could become a college professor. She'd finished her master's degree and was preparing for the final exams to get into the doctorate program when her landlord told her she had to move out of the apartment where she was living. He broke the lease. In just a couple of days, she had to leave that place and move into the dorm. This all happened in the middle of final exams. Threw her off, and she couldn't study like she had hoped. She ended up being turned down by the main university where she wanted to attend. She was not only disappointed in herself, she was angry at the landlord for making her leave, especially at that time. She was about to meet with an attorney and take legal action against him. She always watches our podcast. My message that week happened to be called, "You Have a Defender." I talked about how we all have unfair things happen, but God wouldn't have allowed it if he wasn't going to somehow use it for your good, and how God can vindicate us better than we can vindicate ourselves. She knew that was God speaking to her. She let it go. After being turned down by 16 universities, she applied to a very prestigious university in Italy. They really liked her, but they had 12 people on the waiting list in front of her. They told her, unfortunately, she wouldn't be accepted. 2 weeks later, they emailed back and said, "We've never done this before, but we've changed our mind and opened up a position just for you." When she arrived, they informed her out of hundreds of doctorate students, she was one of the 6 chosen to be in the advanced studies program. That meant she would not only receive a full scholarship, but she wouldn't have to live in the dorm. She would have her own executive apartment in a beautiful neighborhood close to the university. I talked to a young man that was on dialysis. He was in his early 30s. 3 days a week, 4 or 5 hours a day, he would have to go up to the clinic. My father was on dialysis at the end of his life, and I took him up to the clinic a lot. And you don't see many people in their 30s. My heart went out to him because that's not an easy thing. He told how he had had this problem since childhood. He wasn't a candidate for a transplant. Had a great attitude, still went to work every day. And we prayed that God would not only help him fulfill his destiny, but that God would make a way where we didn't see a way. I saw him a couple of years later. He said, "Joel, you'll never believe what happened. For years, doctors had told him that he couldn't have a transplant. But this one doctor took a special interest in him, studied his case, said, I can see why nobody wants to take the risk, but this is what I specialize in." And one night at 1 o'clock in the morning, he received a phone call from the doctor saying, "Be at the hospital tomorrow morning at 6. I have a kidney for you." The man was beaming with joy. He said, "Joel, I'm not on dialysis anymore. I have a new kidney." One touch of God's favor and his whole world changed. One doctor going out of his way to be good to him. And what you're facing may look like it's never going to change. People have told you no, the odds are against you. Can I tell you, you're just one good break away. Just one touch of God's favor and suddenly you'll get well. Suddenly you'll get the kidney. Suddenly you'll be free. Suddenly you'll be promoted.